Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Against the Public for October 3rd. I'm Dana Lane. Today, we're going to change things up just a little bit. There's a small schedule ahead of us on Wednesday, so I thought with the National Hockey League season opening up on Friday, I thought we'd go through a couple of handicapping techniques or tips that I like to use during the course of the season. Of course, it changes a little bit, but gives you a little bit of a carpet to walk down to start the season. And after we finish this, please go to Pickdawgz.com. I'll have my premium Major League Baseball postseason plays locked and loaded for tomorrow's New York Mets, Milwaukee Brewers Game 3 showdown. We'll have side and total in that game. And congratulations to everybody who had another winning day in Major League Baseball. We've been absolutely smashing it on the premium play, so please don't miss out tomorrow. Also, I'll have my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Atlanta Falcons matchup, along with three big college football selections in tomorrow's Texas State-Troy matchup, and also Sam Houston State and UTEP. 2 games, but we'll have 3 plays, so look for that. Remember, you can also get my Major League Baseball postseason selections for one low price of $99.99. Yep, that's been slashed a little bit now, so $99.99, and it's not going any lower than that. But you can get every play from now to the end of the World Series for one low price. We, as I said last night, we smashed another winning card. Thank you so much to everybody who got involved with the 3-pack or the all access pass. Thank you so much. Another winning night, and we're going to do it again tonight. So jump on board if you missed out last night. If not, well, you take what you want and put it into another package today. Over the last month, customers now, over the last 30 days, have enjoyed 57% winners, 923 units of profit. You could jump on that Major League Baseball 3-play or the individual plays. The 3-pack is $49.99, and of course that always comes with our Pick Dawgz win guarantee. And then in addition to that, there's only one way to get every play that I release, and that's to simply become an all-access member. And you could do that over the next 30 days for less than $11 a day, the next 90 days for less than $10 a day, or better yet, guys, just get that all-access pass for the next 365 days. Gives you every play that I release in the NFL, college football, upcoming NHL season, college basketball, NBA, Major League Baseball. You get it all for one low price. Comes out to be about $3.70 a day. So after we go through a couple NHL techniques that I like to use, I do have a special season offer for everybody who watches this show specifically, so stay tuned for that. So these are a few basic handicapping techniques that I like to use, and when I do this, I like to take things that have given me value over a long period of time, not just last year. But we will go back just for a second and look at what happened last year. But I also want to look at something. To me, I don't want like a tip or a technique that only helped me last year, and then 5 years before that it was not good at all. So I try to avoid those things, but you'll see what we'll do. Now, the first of these is. I've been asked a million times about statistics and which statistic that I jump on first, or what do I look for. And the one thing I look for, especially early in the season, is penalty minutes. And last year, once again, it is, and of course that's pretty self-explanatory why penalty minutes is such a big thing. But last year, we look at the teams that were the most penalized in the National Hockey League. We're looking at the Anaheim Ducks, Florida Panthers, Minnesota Wild, Tampa Bay Lightning, Ottawa, Philadelphia, Montreal, Toronto, Buffalo, Edmonton, and San Jose. Now, a few of those teams snuck into the postseason. A few of those teams had good years, but the majority of them did not. These are the top 10 most penalized teams in the National Hockey League. So if we put all 10 of those teams into a blender, we would have had a record of 421 and 481 last year, 467 win percentage, minus 61.04 units of profit, or 6,104 units of profit, depending on how you like to break it down. Now, the fun fact about this is if we go back 20 years, which I'm a big history guy, so I love going back 20 years and seeing if there's anything that is a trend, like a consistent trend that we can use from year to year. But if we go back 20 years, I can't find one season where the combination of those 10 teams produced a profit. So just to give you an idea, over the last 10 years, the record is 7,952 wins, 8,370 losses, a 487 win percentage, which is pretty close to 500. But we know that kind of win percentage is going to take a bunch of money out of your bankroll. And combined, those teams have taken over 734 units, 0.58 units out of your bankroll, or 73,458, depending on how you do it. But it is a ton of money that has come out, and there's something about those franchises that have not found a ton of success. It is something about them that the penalty minutes have been an issue for those franchises for a very long time, and in a sense, if you combine them, we see over 20 years that they just to go against those teams have been pretty profitable. But we don't want to blindly bet against these teams, because we also know that we get some money lines, especially in the NHL, especially later in the year. Actually, over the last couple of years, you see those big money lines a little bit earlier. It's not like an end of year thing. And so what I'd like to do is I want to take a filter to that. I want to take like a minus $1.50 filter, and that is the absolute highest that I will go on a game. A minus $1.50 is the filter. So if we take those 10 teams and put the minus $1.50 filter on it, we find out that this group was 292 and 405 last year. That's a 419 win percentage, which is even worse than if you took all of the money lines or all the games and combined them. Minus 4,640 units lost last year. And those 10 teams, even if you put that filter on, has failed to produce a profit in every season over the last 14 years. So even if you put a $1.50 filter on it, those 10 teams still have failed to produce a profit. A 353 win percentage as an underdog, that's also with the minus $1.50 filter in play. So it gets even worse when they're an underdog with minus $1.50. So something to kind of take in mind. You want to look at those 10 teams, or take a look at the top 10 teams, which will, whatever will be this year. Now, I will say this: don't after 4 games say, well, this is the top 10 teams in penalty minutes. Just let it rest for a second. Get through the first month of the season and then see who leads in penalty minutes, and then kind of run with that, because the first part of the season, it is so up and down. A team that could be number 1 in penalty minutes could be, dead last in penalty minutes within a matter of 4 or 5 games. So I would kind of take a step back, let that number settle in a little bit. But once it does, going against teams with high penalty minutes, top 10 teams I used, that has been a pretty successful way to play games, especially if you're putting that $1.50 filter on it. And then technique number 2 is just consistency. And I love to look at teams and organizations. And I know people say, well, from year to year, teams change, and that's absolutely true. But what doesn't change sometimes is that culture, and we saw that in Tampa Bay for a long time. We've seen that in Chicago for a very long time. Really, during the regular season, we've seen it in Boston, we've seen it in Vegas, because there's a culture there of we expect to win. This is not, this is not Bill Foley trying to. I mean, he is trying to make money, but he wants to win, and he wants to make money through winning, not making money and then hope that they win. So there's a culture with some of these teams, and we'll take a look at which organizations have been the best against the money line over the last 3 seasons. And it might surprise you a little bit, but when you really think about it, you're like, yeah, they do really play well in the regular season. Not so good in the postseason, a couple of these. But number 3, the St. Louis Blues have been the 3rd best organization over the last 3 years. 129 and 117 is their record, plus 1,183 units of profit. Number 2 is the Boston Bruins, 163 and 83. That's an incredible record against the money line over the last 3 seasons, plus 1,632 units won. And number 1 over the last 3 seasons is the New York Rangers, 154 and 92, plus 2,128 units. So it's really not even close. The Rangers are by far over the last 3 seasons the number 1 team against the money line. Now, again, if we add that minus $1.50 filter on it, what do we have? Well, number 3 is still the St. Louis Blues, 91 and 98. Not a great record, but certainly good enough to produce a profit because they're underdogs on most of these occasions, plus 1,188 units. Number 2, surprising, the Buffalo Sabres, 97 and 119, plus 1,600 units, and not really a surprise. I mean, it's a surprise off the top when you just see Buffalo, but really over the last 2 seasons specifically, they won a lot of games as a big underdog, and that certainly fits under the category of minus $1.50 or better. But they won a lot of games as an underdog where people didn't expect them to. Remember, they were a point away from making a postseason a year ago. This was a team, or this has been a team that has been expected to play well and expected to get into the postseason. They just have not done that, but they've done very good against the money line. The problem is you kind of have to withstand those losses. You have 22 more losses than wins, but overall your bankroll would be pretty hefty. It's plus 1,600. And then number 1, when you add that minus $1.50 filter, well, it's no surprise again. New York Rangers, 83 and 57, plus 2,236 units, or even stronger when you add that minus $1.50. And that tells you where they are as an organization. They win those close games, or they win as an underdog. And you notice like the Boston Bruins are out of this top 3 when you add the $1.50, which means they're beating up on the teams that they're supposed to, but not winning a lot of these close games against teams that are more equal to their talent. So the Rangers, number 1 over the last 3 seasons, whether or not you add the entire 3 seasons together or you add that minus $1.50 filter. And then the last thing is a money line sweet spot. And sometimes I like to completely eliminate teams and just look at numbers. And it really, I let the odds makers just do their job. And I kind of, sometimes this is good because it makes your selections a little bit more pure. You focus more on numbers because the number is, you're trying to manage your business. And it's almost like buying a product at minus $1.50 or $1.30. You want to know, where is the best option for me to buy? And what I did was last season, if you would have wagered on every team that was plus $1.25 to plus $2, you'd be up 3,838 units. Now, that's really good, but as we'll talk about here in a second, there is some caveats to that. Now, the best teams last year, using the plus 25 to plus $2 parameters, the Columbus Blue Jackets, plus 7.97 units, Ottawa, 9.39 units, and Washington, plus 16.15 units. So let's look at the favorites, and there was no surprise. The bettors produced, and we're going to set aside the underdogs, but let's look at the favorites now. Bettors produced a nice profit betting favorites that fell between minus $1.05 and $1.20. You would be up 728 units or 7.25 units with a record of 159 and 134. And why that's good is, well, you win on most nights. You don't have to suffer 22 games under 500 to produce a profit. You win on most nights, 159 and 134, plus you turn a little bit of a profit of 7.28 units. That was last year, but let's look at numbers over the last 3 seasons to see if we can find some consistency, because that's, I mean, 105 to 120 was good last year. Does that mean it's going to be good this year? Because what we don't want to do is have a great year and then get buried the next using the same technique. So teams that are between minus 120 and 130, and this is over the last 3 seasons, are 296 and 222, a 571 win percentage plus 1,563 units over the last 3 seasons. Now, over the last 4 seasons, we could still use this minus 120 to 130. The 4 seasons ago also produced a profit, 363 and 269 record, 574 win percentage, 22.39 units won. So if I were you and we were just looking at these numbers, and minus 120 to minus 130 is good, because that allows you to kind of manage your bankroll too and not get crushed too bad if you lose a few games. But over the last 3 years, 4 years really, the teams that are minus 120 to minus 130 have been terrific. Now, we could break that down by the teams. The best team in those under that scenario, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Florida, are a combined 53 and 22, 71% win percentage, plus 2,051 units. So those are the best teams under minus $1.20 to minus $1.30 parameters, and of course that will change from year to year. But just to give you an idea of what those teams have done over the last 3 years. So anyway, that's a few things that you could take into this season. Before I go, I do want to talk to you about my 2024-2025 NHL season pass, and you can get that right now for just $699.99. You get every selection from opening night, which is Friday night, all the way through the Stanley Cup Finals for $69.99. And of course, that's a discount for everybody who watches this show. Also, you get that 15% discount as well if you apply it to your favorite capper, and you can see those on, or you can get that code on a few of the shows that are on the website. So $699.99 gives you every play, and believe me, guys, I will have plays up every single day. Every day that I can have at least 3 plays up, I definitely will. So $699.99. That is an offer that is going to be up there till the start of the season, and it is for Against the Public viewers only. So jump on that. Thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, we got a light schedule today, but we made it work. And hopefully you've taken something from the video and you can apply it. So we want to just go back over that again. The penalty teams, the teams that are most penalized, you want to go against those. You always want to put that $1.50 filter on it. You also want to take a look at that range between minus $1.20 and minus $1.30, and you also want to bet on teams that are consistent. And I kind of give you those 3 teams: the Rangers, the Bruins, and St. Louis, that have been consistent over the last 3 years. Consistency and expectance to win, and just overall culture of an organization. Yeah, I know what the Bruins were 3 years ago is not what they were today player-wise, but the expectations certainly have not changed, and that's why we see the Rangers and Buffalo and St. Louis have terrific regular seasons, even though some of the players have changed from those teams. So go to pickdawgz.com right now, get my NHL playoff, check that. NHL regular season pass 2024-2025, $699.99. It's for Against the Public customers only. You can see the Against the Public special up on the website. I think it's the first thing that pops up right now. So let's get ready for a tremendous year on the ice. Thank you so much for watching. For Against the Public, I'm Dana Lane. All the best to you and your wagers on Wednesday.